Hey guys, Jeff here, Cleveland Coaster Company. Had a few comments on my YouTube channel asking me what the process is to create a B&M track using Fusion 360. I'm going to show you how to model this piece of B&M track right here. So with that, let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in our track profile. Now, this is the splines for our track pieces. These were created using No Limits 2, and they were exported and brought into Fusion 360. So if you guys want, I can make a separate video on that. I'm not going to cover that in this video, though. So the first thing I'm going to go to is plane along path. Select the center of our track. Go all the way back to 0. Make sure this tangent chain is unselected, deselected, or not checked. Click OK. Then I'm going to insert our track profile. Go to Insert DXF. Going to select our file. This is a track profile that I drew up in AutoCAD. Select our plane, and you can see it brings in the track profile. Then I'm going to hit OK. Now I have to correctly orient this, so I'm going to turn this off. Let's select our track profile. There it is. I'm going to hit M for move. Set this so it pivots around the center line of our track. Now we should be able to rotate it in place. I'm going to zoom in to make sure that we're lined up here. You can really get this dialed in pretty good. There we go. Click OK. Turn our center line back on. Now we're going to start extruding all these track pieces, all the components of our track profile. So I'm going to select the box spine first. I'm going to go to Create, Sweep, select Path and Guide Rail for the type. For the path, I'm going to select our center line. For the guide rail, I'm going to select one of the rails. And that should pull in our box spine. Hit OK. It turns these sketches off. You could just click the little eye here and turn it back on. And then I'm going to do the same thing for all the other components. So I'm going to select our rails here. Create, sweep, and we're going to do the same thing all over again. Okay. Then we're going to do the same thing for the track tie. Once we have all this stuff, then we're going to extrude the end of our track. Show you what I mean in a minute here. This is the end track tie. It's going to be 2 inches. Make sure it says new body. Click OK. Now you can see we have our track connection at the end there. The next thing I'm going to do is we're going to start setting up all the planes that are going to create the track ties throughout the length of this track. So I'm going to go up here to document settings, and I'm going to change everything to feet real quick. Then I'm going to go to construct, plane along path, select the path. We're going to go to physical. These track ties are 4 feet apart. And we're just going to keep doing this all the way down the length of the track. There we go, that's it. I'm going to go ahead and turn some of these off here so we can see better. Now I'm going to start with the box spine, and I'm going to start creating our profile for the box spine along the track. I'll show you what I mean here in just a second. So we're going to go to this plane, the second plane. We're going to create a sketch on it. Go to create, go to project/include, intersect, click body, select the body, hit OK, and now we have our square. And then I'm going to click Finish Sketch. And we're going to do that all the way down the length of the track. Once we get to the end here, I'm going to go to the last plane, create a sketch on this, and instead of clicking Intersect, we're going to go to Project, and then we should just be able to select the end there. Click OK. And we have our square at the end. So now that we have our box spine complete, we're going to start doing that with the track ties. So I'm going to bring that profile back, and we're going to do the same thing. So here we go. We're going to go to the first plane, create sketch, intersect, select the body, click OK. Now we have our first track tie. Now that we have those, we're going to start extruding all of these. So I'm going to hit E for extrude. I'm going to select the profile. I'm going to go to distance, symmetric, whole length, and I'm going to make it 2 inches. For the last piece, we're only going to extract it in, or I should say extrude it in one direction. So you don't need to go through the process of finding the symmetric function and all that. So now we have all of our track ties. So now if I start turning some of these things back on, you can really see the shape of our track coming together here. And you could pretty much say that it's done at this point, but I like to take it a step further, and I'll show you what I mean here in just a second. Let's turn all this stuff off first. You could just select all these bodies and then hit V and it'll turn everything off. So what I'm going to do is turn all these squares back on. Turn everything off that you don't need. Just makes it easier to work with. then we're going to create a new sketch. Make sure 3D sketch is checked down here. And we're going to start putting in all of these lines. So the next part is making this a solid body. So I'm going to go to Surface. I'm going to click Patch. And I'm just going to start selecting all of these. Turn that sketch off. Turn these other sketches off. Now we should be able to select this entire thing and stitch it all together. Hit OK, and now we have a solid body. Now I can go ahead and turn everything else back on. Got our rails. Got our end pieces. We're missing one over here. And really all I need to do for that is extrude the track profile to the other end. So let me do that real quick. You should delete that. Some of these are extra we don't need. Delete that. Last thing we need to do is select the whole thing, go to Modify, Combine, select OK, and we have our track piece. You can see it's all one body. So that's it. That's how you make B&M track in Fusion 360. I'll be doing some more tutorials as requested. So stick around for more content. Thanks.